In this video, we'll walk through how to use the Partial Exits tool to plan a trade with multiple take-profit targets and partial closes. This tool is designed to help you structure exits, reduce risk progressively, and clearly see how partial closes affect net profit and trade progression. First, set up the base trade. Choose whether the position is long or short. Then enter the entry price, total position quantity, and leverage. These inputs define the full position before any partial exits are applied. Before building targets, it's worth setting your execution assumptions. In the top right corner, open fee settings. Here you can configure fees, spread, and slippage so all outputs reflect more realistic net results. Once this is set, every metric you see below updates automatically based on those costs. You can also choose your liquidation model here, which will change how the estimate is calculated. Next, choose how take-profit and stop-loss levels are defined. For take-profit inputs, you can switch between points from entry or direct take-profit price. For stop-loss inputs, you can also choose between points from entry or a fixed stop-loss price. Use whichever method matches how you normally plan trades. Below that, you can select a strategy preset. Strategy presets automatically build common R-based ladders, such as 1R, 2R, and 3R. If you prefer full control, you can skip presets and define all targets manually. When using R-based targets, the R multiple values determine how far each take profit is from entry relative to the stop-loss distance. Next, let's look at stop-loss behavior. You define the stop-loss price directly. And right below that, you'll see stop-loss close percent, labeled as partial at stop. This setting controls how much of the position is assumed to be closed if price hits the stop. If it's set to 0, the tool assumes no partial close at the stop. If you set a percentage, the tool models that portion closing at the stop and recalculates net loss, risk remaining, and exposure remaining accordingly. Next, let's build the ladder table. You can choose if you want your partial closes in percent or in quantities, which also automatically changes the partial at stop option. Each row represents one take-profit level. For every row, you set the take-profit price and the percentage of the position to close at that level. The filled checkbox controls whether a target is active. You can add or remove rows and adjust percentages freely. The tool automatically tracks allocation. You'll see whether the total close percentage equals 100%, and you'll be notified if it's under or over. Once the ladder is set, all calculations update automatically. Now, let's move to the plan outcomes. Blended P&L shows the net result of the entire plan after fees. Blended risk to reward shows the final reward relative to the initial risk. Worst case, after take profit, one shows the scenario where the first target is hit and price then reverses to the stop loss. Remaining upside shows how much reward is still available if the final target is reached. Next is the position and structure section. Risk remaining shows how much risk is left after partial closes. Exposure remaining shows how much position size is still open. Fees summarize total execution costs across all entries and exits. Stop loss, labeled as partial, shows the loss at the stop based on the stop-loss close percentage you set earlier. Liquidation price is estimated based on the remaining open position. Exit efficiency shows how effectively profits are captured compared to the best-case outcome. Then we can see our total closed quantity. Trade execution confirms whether the plan is fully allocated and complete. You'll also see a break-even message when cumulative net profit reaches 0 or higher. This indicates the point where remaining exposure can be managed with reduced risk. Next, expand the per close snapshots. This section shows each take-profit level individually. For every target, you'll see the close quantity, gross profit, net profit, cumulative result, R multiple, and remaining position size. Finally, let's look at the breakdown table. The breakdown summarizes all partial exits in one place. Each row shows the take-profit price, close percentage, closed quantity, gross and net profit, cumulative result, and remaining quantity. The totals row summarizes the entire plan, including remaining quantity, total profit, and close amounts. That's the full workflow. You define the base trade, set your fees and execution assumptions, build a partial exit ladder, and instantly see how the plan behaves in terms of profit, risk reduction, and execution efficiency before placing the trade.